My father came from a generation of men who had one thing in common: avoiding emotion. So I don't know what I was thinking when I was finishing up a conversation with him on the phone, and I just blurted it out. "Goodbye, Dad. I love you." Now, this may not seem very strange to you, but it occurred to me at that very moment that my father never said those words to me. Now, unlike the movies, my father did not melt. He did not burst open for my outpouring of love. He did not even smile. He just said, "Yeah, ditto." I said, "Ditto? What do you mean by that, Dad?" "You know, ditto." "No, Dad, what did you mean?" You know, I don't want to say it." I let him off the hook this time. My dad was 85 years old, a few years retired, sharp as a tack, but he somehow conveniently always had an acute case of amnesia every time we were saying goodbye on the phone. And I asked him to reply in kind with those 3 words. And so this bantering back and forth became a routine part of our conversation. Now, our conversations already had a certain rhythm to them. We would say hello, and then we would talk about my father's bowling game, his tennis game, his emphysema, and his breathing. At which point he would very distinctly throw the conversation to me. "Enough about him, what about me?" And the conversation now went something like this, and I'll decode this for you. "How's your car running?" A very important topic to my father. "How's your social life?" Now, this was daddy speak for asking me if I had any hot dating prospects. "Any work on the fire?" He always said this softly so my mother wouldn't hear. You see, this was code for asking me for a brief report of my financial status and to see if a financial money transaction was necessary. And that was the end of our conversation, at which point we were saying our goodbyes. "Goodbye, Dad. I love you." Yeah, same here. "Come on, Dad. It won't kill you to say it." You know what I mean. I was cracking up. He was cracking up. You know. Leave me alone already. You're nuts. You know that. And besides, I can't. I don't want to say it in front of Mom. I said, "Oh, no, you wouldn't want to show any emotion in front of her, all right." He said, "That's right." Now, my mother had caught on to what was going on at this point, and I could hear her in the background saying, "Good luck getting him to show any emotion." But when she left the room, I heard the voice on the other side of the line saying, "Yeah, okay, I love you." He was cracking up, all right, but he was also cracking open. One year on Father's Day, I said, "You know, Dad, I was going to get you a card that said, 'I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.'" "That's your line." I said, "No, Dad, that's your line." Yeah, that's okay. Good night. But he knew he was cornered. My mother was in the kitchen with him. I was on the line with him. And in front of my mother, he said, "Yeah, okay, I love you. See, Ivy, I said it." And I can hear my mother in the background saying, "I can't believe it. I'm giving him a big kiss for you." Now, there came a time, a moment, when I realized what I had done. "Goodbye, Dad. I love you. I love you. You know I do. I always have. I always will. I love all my kids. You know that." And as I hung up the phone and let the tears stream down my face, I realized that the crack had opened fully. 5 years passed. My father turned 90, and we had a great surprise birthday for him. And I was the last person to speak in tribute to him. I stood in front of my father. "Okay, Dad, we've been practicing for 5 years. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Are you ready?" He nodded. He knew exactly what I was talking about. "I love you, Dad. I love you." And that room burst into cheers as everybody witnessed this opening of my father. And you know what? The conversation is still continuing today, even 4 years, almost to the date that my father's had his last days on this earth. Only now, I talk to the moon. And it's as if the light reflecting off the moon fills the empty places in my heart. And sometimes As I'm walking along, I can hear my father whisper in my ear, I love you. I always have. I always will.